Dude, I don't know, man. This patch is something else. Pugna's the illusion counter, guys. Look at this. Pugna's the illusion counter. Alright. Hey, what is up, guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're gonna be going over 10 crazy builds you can try in 7.31. I've been watching so many pubs, guys. Literally so many pubs. I've been playing so many unranked games just to try things out so I can make this video. This is literally my favorite video to make after every single patch. I don't know, man. There's something about just like hopping into a Dota game, having something you want to play that makes Dota so much more enjoyable. And all of these builds are good, or at least relatively good. You know, I can't say that all of them are going to make you have a 60% win rate or something like that, but they're definitely fun, they're definitely strong, and let's get into it. But before we do, I just want to say smash the like button, subscribe for the patch content, and yeah, here we go. Alright, and one more thing, I just want to tell you guys, you should sign up for gameleap right now. And the reason why is over there with this new patch, I'm going to be making 2 new videos literally every single day for the next couple of weeks just about how to win in this new patch. Like, the amount of value that is going to be on the site right now is absolutely insane. And the best part of this is not only is that the case, but I'm also going to be giving you guys a 50% off code if you use the code GETGOOD, GITGUD. While you are signing up, you get 50% off. You literally will not get this most of the time. It is absolutely insane how good gameleap is right now. So go give it a shot right now. I can't wait to see you guys there. And yeah, let's get into the video. All right, number 1, like you just saw in the intro, was the Pugna build. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, that's the only reason why Pugna's good. Absolutely not. What's crazy about Pugna is this hero is just one of the most buffed heroes of the patch. It literally didn't get nerfed at all. It just got straight up buffed. And here's a couple of the things you need to understand that makes this hero stupid. Yes, well, number 1, it did get its mana cost on Decrep increased. It did lose the fact that Nether Ward heals when spells are casted around it, but it was changed to buff it regardless of those. So, Decrep has no cast point, which means it's like Batrider's Q. You know anything about Batrider's Sticky Napalm, guys? You don't have to turn around to use it. You know what's hilarious about Pugna? You can Decrep people without turning around. This means if you're getting chased by a TA, instead of having to turn around and use Decrep to save yourself, which often would get you killed, you just Decrep with your ass. I'm not kidding. It just works like that. That's insane. And then the second biggest change to Pugna, which is ridiculous, is that Nether Ward, if anyone is affected by it, and it is maxed, which is not that hard to get on Pugna, they do 25% less spell damage. Just straight up flat, 25% less spell damage if they're in the radius. Nether Ward radius is massive, guys. Everyone on the enemy team just straight up does 25% less spell damage. That's it. And you might be like, oh, but they can kill the Nether Ward. It's like, guys, you just put it across the map from them. The radius on this thing is ridiculous, and they just don't do any damage. And then when they do try to do damage, they take damage from the Nether Ward. And finally, the last change from Pugna was the fact that this hero can Decrep while life draining, which is so valuable. On top of that, he has this hilarious shard, which you guys saw earlier. You can annihilate illusions with it. That is definitely by far the best use case for it. And so here's the build. Honestly, I can't say there's any like crazy builds for this hero. I think you really still need to just go Aether Lens. I personally like going 2 Knolls into Mana Boots into Aether Lens. From there, I just like going the Octarine, sticking with the common build. I really like going a defensive item after the Octarine. I wouldn't prioritize buying the shard early on into the game. While it is kind of cool, the problem with it is it does require you to put it relatively close to the enemy, which kind of defeats the purpose of the Nether Ward. However, against illusion heroes, the earlier you buy it, the better. I mean, the fact that you just insta-kill all of them is just funny. And it's not like it has much of a cooldown, right? So you just can keep killing Peel's illusions over and over and over again, and there's basically nothing he can do about it. So it's just insane. I really think this is going to be one of the best heroes of the patch, and you can quote me on that. Next up at number 2 is Ember Battle Fury. You might be like, Ember Battle Fury, why, Speed? Well, there's a couple reasons. Number 1, and the most important reason, is Sleight of Fist no longer is reduced on creeps. Previously to this patch, Sleight of Fist would do 50% of its damage to creeps, meaning it wasn't that good at farming unless you had a Maelstrom, because then the Maelstrom could proc. But now that's not the case, and so Battle Fury actually really allows you to shred through camps, farm very quickly, push in side lanes, and as the game progresses and you get to a Battle Fury Deso plus Daedalus timing, which I recommend that you follow up with Blink and often a BKB after that, or if you really want to go psycho, you can go even more DPS. But if you can get to this timing, you can one-shot creep waves with Sleight of Fist. And what's incredible about this version of Ember, even though this has been a build for a long time, is number one, as we talked about, the Sleight is much better now early on. It's ridiculously good early on. It's good in the lane as well, so you can play this hero as a safe laner. But you also have a level 25 talent that gives you 2 Sleight of Fist charges. So when you get to the late game and you hit for like 1,000 damage on a crit or 1,500 damage on a crit, you have 2 of them and it can hit 5 heroes and it cleaves. So you can get to this point in the game where you're just absolutely unstoppable. It's a ridiculously fun hero to play right now with this build, and I definitely recommend giving it a shot, even as a safe laner. Next on the list is maybe what I think is the best carry of the patch. I'm not just saying that. I think Chaos Knight is pretty damn stupid. This hero, giving it just the ability to farm, is kind of insane. If you don't know what they did, it does 50% more damage to creeps when it crits. But the thing is, illusions get that as well, right? It's ultimate. So this hero farms significantly faster. And a lot of the other heroes can't farm as fast now because of like how all the camps work. CK doesn't really care, he just shreds through all the camps. You'll never have any lifesteal and healing problems, so you can infinitely farm because of your passive. And so here's the build that you go. You go boots, generally treads, into armlet, into Sange and Yasha. Obviously, I recommend small items in between, such as raindrops and wand, to deal with your mana issues. I think some players even go soul ring. Also, another lane that you can go that is stupid strong is Coddle CK. I think that lane is just nasty. Maybe one of the strongest lanes in the game right now. Can be played as a 1 and 5 or as a 3 and 4. Both are just as good in my opinion. So yeah, I think CK is going to be one of the best heroes. Armlet and SNY after that into a Bloodthorn. Bloodthorn's an incredible item on CK. It doesn't give int anymore, which is fine for CK. He doesn't need it really. And yeah, it builds from Orchid, which is like 3k gold, really cheap, helps you solo kill people, and it gives you mana regen, which you need. And then it builds from Mage Slayer, which is actually a very good item on CK, considering it builds into something else. I would say as a standalone item, it's like okay, but because it builds into Bloodthorn, it's actually pretty solid, right? The Mage Slayer gives you 20% magic resist. It's not bad. I wouldn't say it's like the best item you want to buy on CK, otherwise you would rush it, obviously. But it builds into Bloodthorn later on, and then the stats from Bloodthorn are just incredible, and the crit you get with your illusions on the Bloodthorn as well is really, really nice. So yeah, I think this is a hero that's really going to be contended for in the pro scene and in pubs, and you can keep your eye out for it. Next up is Techies! Just buy E-Blade on Techies. It's so funny, man. You buy your shard, you buy E-Blade, you blast off, it stuns them, you put down a bomb, you chuck the other bomb, whatever it's called. You guys know what I'm talking about. And then you E-Blade them, and then they just explode. Literally, it's like, I don't know, 2k magic damage or something at max. It's so funny, man. I killed a Quap with it because I played it. I've played this build in an unranked game. Mid Techies. Mid. It's good. It's like unironically a solid mid. And I'm not just saying that. You might be like, man, you're out of your mind. No, it's like a good laner. This hero's a solid laner. It's hard to lane against Techies. I'm not just saying that. It's so easy to get first blood on Techies. Like, this hero is the first blood master. Getting ahead of myself, just buy an E-Blade. I think Thompson goes Octarine than E-Blade, but the concept here is E-Blade now builds from Kaya. This lets you farm, this lets you deal damage. You buy 2 Knolls, a bottle, into this, Kaya into Octarine, or Kaya just straight into E-Blade, and you blow people up. It's actually very, very strong. And I think Techies being able to buy a shard at minute 15 is a huge up to this hero because his shard early game is incredibly good. It allows you to initiate from so far away and catch the enemy team off guard from out of vision. It's really powerful, even as a support. All right, coming in at number 5 on the list, we have Storm Spirit. I'll keep this one really nice and simple. Funny enough, Knolls double at minute 25. Basically, I think people are going a little bit crazy. I'm sure you've seen the Storm Knoll build at this point. If you haven't, it's really funny. If you buy like 5 Knolls and have an Arcane Blink, you can like infinite zip. If you get an Arcane Rune on top of that, you unironically like do not use mana when you zip. It's honestly hilarious. It's one of the most ridiculous things I've seen in Dota. But the problem with that is obviously it's not good until you get it, right? Having 5 Knolls and a Blink Dagger on Storm is pretty worthless. So just don't, like, it's good to go towards this build, but for like a practicality standpoint, what I recommend you go is 2 to 3 nulls, maybe even 4. Like, unironically, I think going 4 nulls, it's a bit crazy, but you could go 4 nulls with treads. Generally 3 will be better because you're going to have your bottle, which you don't really want to swap out. So let's say 3 nulls with a bottle with treads into Kaya. And this is a good place to be. From there, Kaya, you can turn into Kaya Sange. I think this is the best place to go from Kaya now. Kaya Sange on Storm just kind of allows you to be this nice frontliner where you can go in for your team and not have to worry about being bursted. And with all the stats from the nulls as well, you're incredibly tanky, and these nulls will double at minute 25, making you even tankier, more sustainable with more mana. And obviously you can replace the bottle at some point for a plethora of items. A couple of good examples are Orchid is still okay, it's not great, but it's okay. Ags is a fantastic choice, or BKB is good as well, keeping it simple. Next up at number 6 is Skywrath Mage Mid. I don't think this hero got buffed in a way that really made him some crazy mid laner, but I do think that the fact that E-Blade is such a cheap item right now with Kaya buildup makes it really good on Sky. I will say that I also think that this item is really good on Void Spirit mid, incredibly good actually, and Puck mid. So all of these heroes can be played in this regard, where you go some sort of E-Blade into Octarine, you're extremely mobile, hard to catch, have incredible initiation range, and low cooldowns on your extreme nukes, so definitely keep these in mind. Coming in number 7 is Coddle. Not going to go extreme here, I just think that this hero is good. It received some of the biggest buffs of the patch. Literally, this hero got buffed. Just so many buffs. So definitely Coddle is a hero to experiment with. I absolutely think Coddle is very strong right now, and as I was saying earlier, I recommend you pair it with something like a CK or a Wraith King, something that can set up for you in lane. Even something like a Troll Warlord would be incredibly strong, can be played as a 5 or a position 4. In terms of items, I don't think there's anything crazy to go. I will say if you want to try this as a mid laner, go back to that route. I would recommend going Knowles into E-Blade. I think that's kind of just a build for these nuker heroes right now. It's just so good with the Kaya buildup. But yeah, there's that. And then as a support, I wouldn't do anything crazy. I would just keep it to your basic 4-staff or Glimmer. I think the Shard is really valuable. It's a bit hard to use in pubs. It's a recall. Basically, you can drag your teammates around the map. Really powerful if you have good synergy between you and your teammates. Maybe in party queue or unranked if you can synergize moves, or even just drag your carry to creep waves so he actually farms instead of having 100 CS a minute 25. That's a good option as well. Coming to number 8, I actually have 2 carries. I don't really have builds for these heroes right now. I don't think their builds really changed, but I wanted to say that I think they're good. And that is Anti-Mage and Troll. I don't think they're necessarily as good as CK might be, even though maybe I'm overhyping CK, maybe a little bit. But I think AM having this 40% slow when mana burn is maxed out if the enemy runs out of mana is really good when you hit your Manta timing. So I would still go Battle Fury into Manta. I wouldn't change it up at all in that regard. I basically just think that when you burn enemies out of mana, you can actually chase them down now. It makes your ability to get solo kills significantly easier. That's what my friend told me, that's what I've been seeing from pubs, and it absolutely makes a lot of sense. A 40% slow is better than Scotty against, in particular, melee heroes, and so yeah, it's a really nice tool that you have now. And then in terms of Troll Warlord, this hero received a slight buff, but I actually think it was pretty decent last patch, and then it got buffed, so I would just keep your eyes out for it. I don't want to say much more than that, just keep your eye out. Going in number 9 is Enchantress. This hero received quite a bit of buffs as a support. Notably, her Nature's Attendants are now 30 less mana at level 1, so if you want to take that and trade in the laning stage, it is now quite a bit better. The Impetus is 5 less mana now at level 1, so if you want to go Impetus Nature's Attendants at level 1, level 2, because you think your large camp's going to get blocked, you can do that, and it's quite a bit less mana, it's much more sustainable. A little bit of mana regen, you're going to be able to use these spells relatively consistently. But from there, really, what I see about Ench that I'm kind of interested in is all of these new creeps and their abilities. You can really catch people off guard right now. In particular, the one that really fascinates me, that's almost confusing to me, is the, what's the name? It's the small camp spear creep. I'm forgetting the exact name. Someone can put it in the comments. But basically, it has the effect where it reduces regen for 2 seconds by 75%. You heard that correctly. It reduces regen by 75%. What in the world is that number? You want to know how much regen Scotty reduces, guys? The answer is 40%. This is almost double that. And you can get it early on. If you walk up to a Morphling with this creep and you hit him with it, his attribute shift doesn't work. If you walk up to a Timbersaw and you hit him with this thing, all of his regen from Hood, Sange, Vanguard, Reactive Armor doesn't work. If you hit a Necrophos with it, he can't heal. There's a lot of options with the creeps now. They're all pretty solid, but this one in particular is really crazy to me. Maybe even broken if used properly. So just keep it in mind. And finally, last but not least, is Dazzle. This one I'm so on the fence about, man. This hero is so confusing to me right now. I really can't tell if it's good or not, but all I want to say is that I've been doing some experimentation with this hero in demo mode, and one thing I can tell you is you can cast items 4 times. You heard that correctly. You can cast your items 4 times. Might be thinking speed. How is that? Ags, right? The Ags, if you don't know what it does now, reduces item cooldowns by 50%, but that doesn't let you cast it 4 times. That's just cooldown reduction. However, the Ags allows you to reset your item cooldowns on you or an allied hero. What's particularly interesting to note is that you can refresh it. You heard that correctly. You can refresh the refresh. Obviously, you generally can't refresh refresher, but in this case, you can. And so what you do is, let's say you have an E-Blade and a Dagon, which is a build you could go. You could go like Hex E-Blade Dagon, something like this. And then you buy an Ags, right? So right then and there, it's just good. Even if you don't have refresher, you just have 50% CDR on all these good items. So that's nice. But you E-Blade, you Dagon. You use your Ags. You E-Blade, you Dagon again. You refresh. This gives you another E-Blade Dagon. You E-Blade Dagon. Your Ags is back up again because you refreshed it. So you use that. And then you E-Blade Dagon again. It is 4 sets of spells. You can use this on any items, including BKB. You can BKB for 24 seconds straight. And this is in the game. It is on Dazzle at the end of the day. So I don't really know how good this is. It's extremely expensive. It requires you to buy an Ags on the hero, which doesn't really do anything until you have other items. So you have to figure out how to make this hero work early on into the game previous to the Ags, which I think maybe could involve the E-Blade, even though it's not that good with his other kit. It gives you a lot of farming potential and works well later on, but that's kind of suspect. Bloodthorn is an interesting option. I kind of like this, but at the same time, it's a little bit weird. The Witchblade into E-Blade is kind of a cool option because you can upgrade the Witchblade later on. There's a lot of experimentation to do with Dazzle. This is one of those heroes that can buy basically any item in the game and justify it. I don't really know what you're supposed to buy, but nonetheless, thank you guys so much for watching. I made a community tab post on this channel asking you guys to send me your replays with your best builds from the patch. I want to see your best plays, guys. If you made some crazy, stupid play with some stupid build, I need to see it. I need to see it. Send it over there. Go to the community tab, pull it up, send your match ID, put 1 timestamp of some good fight or good play, and I'll put it in a video. I'm going to feature you guys. It's going to be a ton of fun. I can't wait, and I'll see you there. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the gameleap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.